We're debating whether. Hold on one second. Everyone's being very shy, so I'm going to drag everyone just to the small demo whiteboard. Everyone's quiet. I don't know why. All the tutors are being quiet. Everyone's being quiet. Hi, if you could just stick your name up here uh, with a post-it, that would be great. Um, Annie, I'm afraid I'm going to probably have to mute you because I think I'm hearing myself twice, and I think we all are.
Okay.
If you headset, if you switch to the headset, it would be great. Great. Is that better for everyone now? Great. So first of all, stick your name up here. I've also put some tables up behind you. So you need to sit down and start introducing each other and chatting and stop being shy. So if you're in the UK, you probably want the map to the left. If you're from the rest of the world, you will probably want the map to the right. If you want to get closer, click on the yellow triangle above it and it'll zoom you in. And once you've got it, find the table, click on the seat where your bottom would normally go and sit down.
Good evening.
Hi, hello, welcome. Everyone's being reticent. Come and join us. We're at the whiteboard. So just come along.
I will.
And we're just putting where people are on the either the UK map or the global map. Hi, welcome. Hi, Will.
I can't see
So
the
what,
UK map.
the
So I'm guessing
UK
where
map to the
Edinburgh
left,
is. Yeah,
Tammy.
no, I can't actually see the map. I've just guessed where Edinburgh is.
Why can't you see the map? Have you not got QUBE
Just
up?
green. Yeah, it's just a green. It's just green.
Oh,
the image
it's
isn't
still
there.
loading there. Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. A quick. I'm just going to jump out. Leo, can you lead this? Make sure everyone's got a map up. Then so
Yeah.
somewhere to sit, please.
Okay. Hi, Sharon. Hey, Annie.
Hi, Leo.
Hi. So, as Eddie said, once you include your name. Oh, I can see it through your microphone, Annie. Is that okay if you unplug and replug it? Oh, I can hear through your microphone, Annie.
Okay.
Is that okay if you unplug and replug it?
Okay, I'll do
Or
that.
go to push to talk. Yeah.
Is it any better?
Try. Yep. Yep.
Is it any better? Very good. Thank you. Thank you.
So if you could help me by, making sure those people, they feel comfortable, and after writing their names on the map,
Yeah, of
they
course I.
can pick a table and, point to the place where you normally your backside would go, and you'll sit.
Yeah.
I can see Fiona. Hi, Fiona. Good to see you. Hazel.
Hi, everyone. Grab a seat when you
Hey.
can. Hi, Eric. Grab a seat. So there's plenty of tables. So click on the chairs where your bottom would normally go and meet some of the people who are here today.
Hello, Kerry.
Oh, hi, David.
Hi, Eric.
How are you doing, Hazel?
Hi.
So grab it. Make sure your name's on the
Would you like
board
to
on
meet
one of the
someone new,
maps.
Hazel? I'll introduce you to some nice people. If so, you can
Hi,
right-click on my
Ulrika.
name, Leonardo, and choose Go With.
So if you can find out how to sit down, that would be great. Hi, Ulrika.
Hi.
Hi, it's Eddie Obeng. Hi, how are you? So
I will. Hi, Kerry.
I'm fine.
are you trying to find somewhere to sit, or have you got your name on the board yet? So Ulrika, to sit down at one of the tables, you just need to click on one of the chairs where your bottom would normally go,
Yeah,
and that will get you seated on the
you
table.
can see Katie is there. Well, I can.
Hi
You
there,
okay?
how you doing?
I'm great. How about yourself?
Yes, looking forward to this virtual experience.
Yeah. Well, why don't I start introduce you to some nice people?
Okay. Are there nice people
Like
here?
Hazel. Yes, certainly. Like Charlie King and Hazel. They're very nice people.
Okay.
I
Hello, nice
deny
people.
that.
Hey Charlie, have you met Ken Banks? He's our speaker today. Have you met
Ken,
him,
I haven't
Charlie?
actually met you, but I feel like I know you because I've been watching your videos. And the second
Oh,
one,
that's
I don't.
good. And Hazel. You're gonna have a seat there, Hazel. I can hear you. Your microphone is off, Hazel. Sit there, Hazel. If you right click on your mic icon. I can hear you. Your microphone is off, Hazel. If you right click on your mic
Oh my
icon.
goodness.
Behind me.
It's perfect.
It's all down.
So Ken, why don't
Here
you
then.
sit on that table behind you,
Hazel.
Ken, where Hazel's sitting?
I can win.
So if you could please, yes, Fiona. Yay, hi Fiona. Yeah. So Ken,
Hello, Charlie.
so Ken,
Hi, Ken.
Behind me. Okay, so I'm turn my back on Charlie.
Yeah, I'm going to come and join you, Ken.
Okay, go.
Hi, Ulrika. If you grab a seat.
Oh yes, where Hazel? Okay, I will be there.
Cool.
Yeah, I won't-
Never been to Delhi. So, is this your first? How's the weather there today?
Oh, Ulrika, you just managed to get to the wall. If you
Sitting here on your own, Ken. There's several people in
know.
other tables.
I know, there's no space
Why-
in the next table. Oh, you're there now, Leo. Okay.
Yeah, that's two of me and my admin too, the one
Oh,
who's
okay.
actually recording the session today.
I was
You know,
about to
I
go
just
on the next.
brought him along.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
You
it was,
remember how to
someone
stand up
stole
at
my
the table?
chair. I don't.
Well,
That's
that's
very,
not a
very
problem.
rude. Very rude behaviour, even in the virtual world. I don't know who it was. I think it was Eric.
Yeah. You remember how to stand up? Just press the.
I remember how to stand up. Where do we sit then?
How about behind you? Is there another? Yeah, they're all. Yeah, there's a table there.
The table with
If you
Hazel and
look
Charlie
behind
on
you.
it.
Yes, exactly. Charlie's a cool guy.
So, Kerry, you worked on projects on
All the participants in your team located in Scotland.
or you just start.
Sorry.
Josh, can you hear me?
So Annie, you've done facilities course.
Yes, I'm one of the tutors. Yes, I have.
And at what level of facilities you completed?
Black belt. No, I made that up. I just made that up.
Oh, you know what? Eddie really should name them that way, like
Yeah.
Lean Six Sigma.
Yeah, black belt, green belt.
Hi, Ulrika. If
And
you
he
click on.
should alter the Q characters so that you can actually have belts. Maybe one of those karate.
Ah,
games
that's
you
better.
Fantastic, great suggestion.
Those delete things would be better and stop people taking it
Oh!
seriously.
That would be great.
You see,
Not that you shouldn't take it seriously, but
Is there a suggestion box?
no, as you speak, I'm noting it down. I'm suggesting. So, fire on, fire on.
when we were having a workshop the other day, I was asking, because someone was popping around, I think they
Very
just
good.
found
I'm in from
something
Malta. I work for Finbank.
Oh
you can have a K here, so
Hi,
you can actually
Hi,
like
Jason.
First time
dance
using this
properly.
tool.
Hey, who's this?
Yes, me too.
We try for that for Christmas, I think. When you were there for my Christmas,
Yeah.
were you there for Christmas?
The Christmas jumpers.
Yes, yeah.
Steve is
We
having
did that
problems
for
with his
Christmas
mic.
area.
He can hear,
We had a QUBE
he
gathering
can
for
hear
us
us, but he
for
can't
Christmas,
reply.
just before Christmas.
We can say anything he likes.
And we all had Christmas
But
city
he's
jumpers.
looking good so far.
Very good.
Enjoy.
So you work for the International Labour Organization in Geneva.
So how,
Well, you can
Yes,
get
I'm in
special skills.
How are you doing, Jason? How are you doing, Jason?
Out in the world, like play with an instrument.
Good. Can you hear me?
You'd actually have that
Yeah, I
special
can hear
skill.
you.
Yes.
currently
Yes.
I can do this.
Loud and clear.
I can see my head bobbing.
Ah, there you are. This is Josh, though, right? Who is this?
You can see Will's head nodding.
Can you see my head
I
nodding?
clearly hear you.
No, what?
Yep.
You can't. You can see me, right?
I'm nodding.
Oh,
Oh, there we go.
that was a hell of a nod. That was brilliant.
Oh, this is good. I have different issues, but
Thought my
my
head was
software,
gonna
each time I install it,
Hi,
it
Jason.
goes
Hi, Jason. Why don't you include your name here on the world map?
out.
I think I've seen you here before in Inspiration Month.
Yeah, I have him here. Okay. Oh, here's Eddie.
Whoa!
You're in America, aren't you? You're in America, aren't you?
See, I have been advised
That's
not
correct.
to.
That's correct.
It
And
is
where are you?
disturbing, and I particularly.
I'm in Brazil. If you've turned, I mean, if you look behind you, there's a world map.
Famous for
So if
Indian
you,
headphones. So I tend to not
if you don't mind, if you could include your name there, so we can see where you are.
A couple of years ago in South Africa,
Pointing at it.
how
Yeah, perfect.
they had a leadership program, and Eddie,
it's going to be noisy soon.
ever since I got his
I'm
book
trying to remember how to do everything.
What exactly don't you remember, Jason?
Oh, just
How to
general
write a
movement.
post-it?
Yeah.
to hear the other conversation.
Yeah. Well, the web
Okay,
post, I got it now.
Well, post-it, there are two ways. You could right-click. It's always useful when you right-click. And there's also in the bottom right corner, that yellow square, or rectangle, which is just click, drag and drop. So, and there are also the shortcuts when you go through places in the bottom right hand corner. You see there are several places, and they may help you sometimes. For instance, if you want to see what's going on the large workshop whiteboard, you just click there and you'll be there quicker than just walk key, which would be the W, S, A, D keys or your arrow keys. Are you a Mac user, Jason? I don't remember.
No, this is actually it's a new Surface Pro. And it's a PC or a tablet PC.
Oh, is that so? Cool.
I was using the PC for I tried it the first few times, and that's I think when you remember me, I was on a laptop and it was just not working well. And so,
But that was the old version that we had. Now maybe we have issues with some computers, especially
Yeah.
computers. But I hope you have a better experience than today. I mean,
well, yeah, today it's going
should
to
be fun. Okay.
Yeah, I did download the new version on my laptop. It still was very slow, and we had Eddie on, and everyone was trying to kind of figure it out.
Okay.
Never did get it to work right, but then on Surface Pro, it's absolutely
It's like,
it's exactly.
yeah, it's fabulous on the surface. It's like, it's the way it works on the surface the way it's supposed to.
So if
I
Is that so?
Yeah, they're great. Because we've got a decent processor in there and good graphics card. That's the secret.
oh, here.
Okay, I'm going to flash the lights and bring everybody back.
I have Eddie pinging me as well on text here.
What can I do and how can I make it interesting?
Hi, Eddie, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey,
got
how
me,
are
Jason?
you?
I'm good, I'm good. How are you? Good to see you.
I'm doing very well, thank you.
Fabulous.
I'm on the Surface Pro now, and it's the whole environment's a beautiful environment. It's working perfectly.
Oh, it's lovely, and it renders the graphics so you don't get the boxy edges either. It's fabulous. You know, all the sort of the edges, sort of it smooths it all out. It's a decent machine. So I'm going to call everyone back soon so we can make a start. So I'm going to give them another 3 or 4 seconds, and then I'm going to call them back as soon as. Leo, are you okay?
Yep.
Unfortunately, there are two Eddies in here at the moment. So
Yeah. So today, very interesting title for today's session: the rise of that's the title.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah. So the challenge I have really
Annie,
is
can you still hear me?
quite international.
Yes, I can.
yeah, I've got you, Jason. I'm just standing here.
Oh yeah.
Normally, you know, when you sit at this table, the noise
The only way
other noise.
We're just taking a few minutes to make sure everybody's in.
Hi, Jane.
So grab a seat somewhere, Jason. Hi, Pritam.
Sure.
Hi, Pritam.
Hi there.
Grab a seat somewhere. Say hello to everyone. Make sure you've got your
Hi.
where you are in the world on the board, and then we'll drag everyone back in a couple of seconds time.
Welcome. Well done.
Every time. I'm glad to see your mic's fixed. If you don't mind joining Jane here, just point to the seat, or press just point to the seat, or press the letter T as in tattoo when you stand next to the perfect.
Just roll your mouse up and down. You can see what's going on.
But then, if you manage to organize that, get together.
Hi, Steve.
Especially when you're
Hi, Steve. Oh, Haley, how are you doing? Yeah, would you mind to join your colleague Jane and Pritam on this table? That means you. Yes, perfect.
Hi, Steve.
if he's standing.
Did you go Nico University?
So we'll have.
Where are you from, Jason?
It says it's dragging us back in 30 seconds.
Do you know how you
So what's that going to happen is 20 seconds will be allowed to chat and exchange within the last 10 seconds they'll be flash over. The reminder for us that
I'm English
Eddie is going to play
of
God
my
and we all
origin,
be
but I'm working in Geneva. I work with international labels.
there you go. There you go. Ladies, may God arrive at. Yeah, I'll keep catching up with you during the session.
Lovely to meet you.
Yeah. Thank you, Kerry. I'll see you soon.
Hey, you too.
Marcel's keeping a pride
flashing
intact.
lights?
Gone.
I do love the power. Hi, welcome everyone. Hi, welcome. My name's Eddie Obeng, and thanks for coming, and thanks for joining me after the invitation. I'm here with several of my colleagues from Pentacle, and the way you can spot them is you'll see that they've got Pentacle after their names, so like Charlie King and Josh Cheeseman and Leonardo. So if you have any questions, we're just here to sort of make everything work really well. What I would just like quickly to check is that everyone's got their name on the maps in front of us. Now that's quite important because we're going to use it to try and calculate how many tons of carbon we've saved. And as a result, we can then feel really brilliant that we're saving the planet at the same time. I just threw up a poll just to help people find out how we got here. Sorry, the reason you can't move at the moment is because I've been God, so I've been holding you. Now you're free to move. So if
We're penned in.
You're free. It's going to be a really great Inspiration Monthly. We've got a brilliant speaker. Ken Banks is going to be exciting and delighting us very shortly. And he's got a really good presentation for us, which I think we'll use for a good discussion about innovation and making innovation work. Hi, Steve. Welcome back. And so what I was going to propose we did really quickly was if we just sort of stand in a little circle really quickly, and then everyone gets to see everyone else, and then you can just say who you are and which organization you're from. So if you want to join me, the trick is to look down to the right where it says places, and you'll see there's a place called gather in circle. And if you click on that, it'll get us in a circle, and then we'll be able to see each other. So if you've got that, people at the top, places at the bottom, gather in circle. So just click on gather in circle and we'll go there.
Oh, hey.
It's very nearly a circle.
Fantastic.
It's almost a circle. Everyone except Asher Kaysen is in the circle.
Very good.
Asher's always making trouble.
And
Great. So
Very
what I'm
good.
going to do is I'm going to just make sure everybody gets a chance to say who they are. The way we're going to do that is we're going to run down the people list. We call this spin casting. It's a way in which we make sure everybody gets a chance to talk. So I'm just going to start Alice Mumbuchi. I'm going to start with you and say, so you just say, my name is Alice Mumbuchi and I'm from such and such. And tell us your organization or what you're doing as your affiliation. And then we all get to introduce each other and then we're off. So Alice, want to start us off?
Yes. My name is Alice Mambuchi. I work for Duke Corporate Education, and I am originally from Kenya.
Brilliant, thank you.
Hi.
If you heard Alice twice, then it's probably because I think Armin, we're picking up some sound off you and Hazel, but we'll sort that out. Josh, can you help with that? Yeah, thanks. Please, can you carry on, Armin?
Yes. Hi, I'm Ani Kaprekar. I'm from sunny Manchester. I'm an independent coach, mentor, and storyteller, and I'm also one of the tutors at Pentacle.
Thanks, Ani. Just keep going. Armin.
Yes, hi, my name is Armin Eckermann. I am from Malta, working for FinBank. I'm heading up the trade finance group and I'm a deputy president of the bank.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Armin. Charlie?
My name is Charlie King. I am originally from England, but I live in the south of France. I'm a tutor for Pentacle, and when I'm not doing that, I help people and businesses to behave like human beings.
Thank you very much. There's two Eddies in here, unfortunately, so I'm going to jump to you, Eric.
I'm Eric Boinard, located in Glasgow in Scotland, French originally, working for Polaroid Eyewear and mainly interested in innovations.
So let's keep going. Let's keep going.
Hi, my name is Eve, and I work for the International Media Agency Viseum, and I run the Estonian office, so I'm from Estonia.
Hi, I'm Hazel Stewart. I work for NHS National Services Scotland as a Programme Support Officer.
Jane, are you okay? Jane, I think you turned your mic off by
Yes.
accident. Great.
Yes, hi, I'm Jane Summers Kelly. I'm really excited to have all of these cultures and nationalities together. I'm based in North Carolina, next to Alice Mambuchi from Kenya.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Keep going, Jason.
Hi, I'm Jason Nicole. I live in Cleveland, Ohio in the United States, and my main office is in Amsterdam, and I'm rolling out Asia right now, so I'm really looking for a solution like QUBE. Very, very interesting stuff. Just got to get my company on board with it.
Brilliant, Jason. Thanks. Everyone knows Josh. Josh has been looking after you.
Hello, everyone.
and our guest speaker, Ken.
Hi, I'm Ken Banks, founder of QAnchor.net, work with mobile technology in developing countries, originally from Jersey in the Channel Islands, but now living in Cambridge.
Hi, I'm Kerry Russell from NHS in the north of Scotland, doing regional planning, and my particular role is regional sustainability. I'm in Dundee, in Scotland.
Hi, I'm Leonardo. I'm from Brazil. I'm a Pentacle tutor, so you see me sometimes here. Nat?
Nat?
Hi, I'm Nat Lowe. I'm from NPL. I work in television and video with companies and individuals, including Pentacle. Right now I'm in New York, but I'm normally in rural Wiltshire.
Thank you very much. Great. Keep going.
Hi, I'm Pritam Chida. I'm a lecturer at Napier University in software project management. Usually based in Edinburgh, but right now I'm also in Dundee.
Every time we're in the same place.
Great. I think that's about it, isn't it? The last one is just a QBot, which has just gone a bit crazy on its own. Great. So,
No, there's more. There's
Oh
more.
no, no, there's more below, Eddie.
Yeah, we got
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Eddie.
I'm sorry. It's me. Great. Yes, keep going.
Hi, I'm Sharon. I work for the ILO in Geneva, and I met Eddie at a Learning Managers Forum.
Simon?
Hi there. You can hear me. I've just rushed back from a meeting. I'm Simon Chandler from the NHS in the UK.
Sorry, Simon. Why are you rushing back from a meeting? Why aren't you doing it on Cube?
Because I can't get on my
Steve
meeting.
Mahaley. Steve? Just Steve Tam?
Hi, I'm Tam. I work in the NHS in Scotland, and I've been using QUBE for about a year now to drive forward innovation in the organisation and across NHS in Scotland.
Hi, I'm Toby. I'm a Pentacle tutor based over in Ireland, and I don't actually exist in the flesh any longer. I have just become a QBot. I spend so much time on Cube.
Tracy?
Hi, I'm Tracy. I do some work with Pentacle, and I'm based on the south coast of England in Bournemouth, and it's good to see you all here. Thank you.
Hi, and I'm and I work for Reddit 10. I coach teams and individuals, and I'm learning QUBE and doing the facilitators course and those kind of things.
Okay, have I got it right now? Was Will the last person on the list?
Yes, yes.
So in that case, what we're going to do very quickly is we tend to start virtual sessions by aligning people, and we tend to use a tool called Hopes and Fears. So if you'll turn to what's called the small demo notice board, if you look in the places list, you'll find it. It's the place where you put the images for your names on the world map. So small demo notice board is where we're heading for. If you go there, that would be great. And if you're a bit slow, I'm going to drag you there anyway. I'll tell you a little bit about what we're planning today. So introduction and welcome is what we've just done. Maybe a little bit more about QUBE, we'll see. And then we're going to kick into our speaker, Ken Banks, who's going to talk about reluctant innovation. Really brilliant presentation coming up. And then we'll do some wrap up. What did we learn? Some people are new to QUBE, some people have been before, so we'll try and answer all the questions about, why QUBE, why the new world, what does this world after midnight thing mean, and so on and so forth. There's certain things called etiquette, which is really important. So the first bit is here, please try not to sell to each other. People get a bit sort of stressed because it's a learning environment. The second is, if we use funny words like QBot or Cubinar, there's a reason. So this particular one here explains some of the weird words we use. The next one is the flashy lights. Flashy lights are good warning. It is horrible, like drag back from a deep conversation you're having. And then to the far right, where I'm pointing again with a brown laser, is the spin casting, which you now understand how that works. So I was just going to try and get us to get going, but going back to our bit today here and aligning us with what we call the hopes and fears pet. Now, if I grab all of us, and this is, sorry, people who already know about QUBE, this will be boring to you, but you see this shelf over here having little tiles on there. That tile over there, if you put your mouse over it, just follow me through, you'll see it says Hopes and Fears QUBE 1. That's what we call a performance enhancement tool, or a PET. I need a volunteer whose name will be Hazel to grab this, click on it, and drag it all the way to the whiteboard for us. Can you do that? There you go, and let go.
Yeah, we got.
And then what I'll do is I'll pull us all in. We're all in the same place. And please, this session, what do you want to get out of this session? And what are you worried that we will miss out on, or bad things which will happen? Can you please write over the next minute? Then we would have shared our visions, and then we'll close out on our visions, then we'll listen to Ken. Please. If you can't see, walk forward, and if you're sticking your stickies on the back of somebody else's head, you might want to use the yellow triangle to get the code. Somebody's moving the whole poster. I'll move it back.
Oh,
Don't
no
worry, I'll move
fear.
it back.
No fear is a great sticky. Can we have that really big?
I moved this back, and I'm going to do
ID.
something weird, which I'm also going to pull everyone in, just so that we're all in the right place, yeah? In case somebody... Okay, another 10 seconds, and then we... Oh, somebody's got a big poster there.
No fear.
Okay. If you've got a decent headset, you don't need to turn your microphone off. It's much easier. We try to be more natural on QUBE. So rather than a conference call where everyone mutes their headsets and goes off and does their emails, we tend to leave it on so we can just chat and very, very natural with it. So, great. Give us another 10 seconds. There's this lovely big grey post-it here. My cup of tea will not arrive.
Fair.
Okay. So what happens is if you create a post-it on the main board, it comes out a lot bigger than if you create it on the little poster itself, this pet thing we said. But if you want to make it smaller, guess what? You grab the corner and just squeeze it down, and there you go, like magic. So can we have a quick look at the fears to make sure that all the fears don't come true? So we've got some of them which are around coming away confused, leaving not at the right time, running out of time, that I can't be seen, that my boss will think I'm playing computer games, and that I say something really... Again.
That's the operative word, again.
It's always been QUBE. It's not been computer games.
Okay. And then there's ones around interruption over here, and then there's a couple about sort of not being afraid at all. With this lot here, if you have technical problems, please just send Josh a text message. That will work very, very well. So just right-click on where it says Josh Cheeseman and send him a text message, private text. Everything else, it's quite hard to break through. So don't worry about it. There are lots of new people. So if you do something stupid or really silly, we'll all laugh at you, but we'll still love you. So that's the rule. So can we get rid of all the fears? And then on the hope side, there's lots about learning. If you want to move the post-its, I'm not the only one who can move the post-its. So if I'm putting them in the wrong place, please correct me. And lots and lots about learning and being inspired by Ken and making sure that we understand QUBE. So I'm going to stop at that point because I want to make sure that we're all on the same page, and also to get a sense of what you've learned and experienced so far. What's happened so far in the past is you've met people from about 10 countries, maybe 14 countries. Hopefully you're almost beginning to forget you're looking at a computer screen. We work together to bring an aligned outcome together. When we're working fresh on QUBE and we haven't got a speaker, normally we organize the ones in the host side from start to finish to give us a timeline which everyone buys into. But because we've got a guest speaker, we're just going to go with these. These, Ken, are the things people want, and these are the things people are afraid of. So Ken, are you okay that you've read everything and you're ready to give us an exciting session?
I know exactly what's asked of me.
Okay.
I shall be re-evaluating my fee.
If that's okay, then, guys, to bring us all round, and Leo, if you can help just get Ken on the first slide. So Ken, if you want to do it yourself, that's also okay.
Okay.
Okay. So can I start by introducing Ken properly, since now the slide is up? We're lucky enough to have, I think, one of the most impressive young entrepreneurs I've come across. He's a TED fellow, he's a TED fellow, and on top of that, tons of awards, but far more importantly, he's a real entrepreneur. He's brought out ideas and taken them to market, but not just to make himself very wealthy, but actually transform the world. And he's going to share with us some of these thoughts and also energize us. So everybody, I'd like you to meet Ken Banks.
Thank you very much. Well, thank you, Eddie. Thank you for the invitation. Thank you, everyone, for trying out this wonderful new, well, maybe not new, but this wonderful technology that Eddie works with here. Just a very quickly, a bit of background about me. Eddie's just sort of touched on it a little bit. I spent the best part of the last 22 years trying to figure out how I can use my education and my skills and my technology understanding to try and help people who are trying to solve problems around the world. And you'll get a sense of that during this talk. I spent the last 12 years working with mobile technology in particular. I was very lucky to get on the mobile technology curve when it was really starting in the early days and grown since then. And mobile phones are doing quite incredible things around the world, and you'll get a slight sense of that as well today. So it's really exciting to be with you. Hopefully you will all learn something and maybe think a little bit differently about innovation and social innovation at the end of this talk. What I would like to do, though, before we begin is actually start off with a question, just to tease and try to get the creative juices flowing. If you could all go over to the large workshop whiteboard, which you'll see in the Places menu. So the large workshop whiteboard. And Eddie might even have to drag everyone there if you don't find your way, but Eddie can decide. Okay, is everybody there? 29. Looks like we're all there. Okay, so the question for you here, once you get to the board, is have a look at the pictures. Have a look at the post-it notes, tea bags, chocolate chip cookies, penicillin, solar-powered maternity wards, ice lollies, microwave ovens. Have a look at those things on that board and have a think about what you think all those things might have in common. Keep that to yourself for a moment. In a minute, we'll just go round and see what people think. But have a quick look at that board and see if you've got any idea of what those things might have in common. If you're not sure what any of them are, I guess you can just shout and I can answer them for you. How are we all doing? Are we all at the whiteboard?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, we are. We've all looked at them.
Okay. All right then. So let's just whiz around the room, and I'll require a bit of help from my beautiful assistant here. But we'll whiz around the room, and we'll get some any ideas from people what they think those things have in common.
Okay, so we'll spin from the top and just start with Alice and then work our way down. So Alice, your mic's off. Annie, your mic's off. So let's just spin and see whether you got any answers. Just a yes, no, or a quick comment would be great. Alice, can we start with you? We lost Alice. Annie. Annie, your mic's off.
It's everyday life.
Okay. Armin, what do you think they have in common?
Sorry? This is Alice. People.
People?
It's about people.
Asher Casey?
The byproduct of something else, so discovered through the byproduct of something else.
Okay, please keep going. Charlie, I'm not going to call out the name. So we go Charlie and we go C. Jarvis.
I'm wondering if it has to do with happy accidents.
Jarvis?
Something to do with the invention.
Yeah, keep going. David?
Different fields.
Ready? I'm going to pull everyone back so you can all see quite clearly. Okay, Eric?
Probably like everybody else, I think some accidental discoveries or application to what was not planned to.
Okay, Eve? Fiona? Hazel?
Technological advances.
Okay, Jane?
Yeah, I'm with everyone else.
Choice.
Okay, let's just keep going through the spin really fast. Jason, Josh, Ken.
Yeah.
So we're not going to ask Ken, are we? Kerry.
Yeah, I think
I'll get it wrong.
Accidental
Bobby?
discoveries is my vote.
Accidental.
It's about people.
Should we keep going, Ken? Or should we let everyone
Let's
say
go back.
something, or
If everyone's happy, we've got pretty much all the different. I'll whiz back to the
We've
slideshow.
got a range of. Okay, so we're going back to the main. So I'll just drag everyone around so that we're all roughly the same place. Okay, so there we go. And back to you, Ken.
Okay, I will just go back to my desk. 1 second. Okay, so a few people actually said during the answer there, the accidental discoveries or accidents or byproducts, and actually that is the right answer. None of those products were actually deliberately invented. They are all the byproduct of somebody trying to do something else. Post-it notes, for example, it was just a very, very bad glue that somebody invented, which was just pushed to one side for many years, and then one day 3M needed a very, very bad glue to temporarily hold pieces of paper together, and it came into its own. Microwave ovens discovered by accident, penicillin discovered by accident. So it's just interesting, I think, when we think about some of the innovations that go on in the world, some of the things that form parts of our daily life, the things that we come in touch with and in contact with, they weren't all deliberately created. Sometimes things happen by chance, they happen by circumstance. Some of the more interesting things actually were never ever planned in the first place. And it's that kind of non-planning, that just getting on and doing stuff, which particularly interests me when we think about innovation and when we think about all the resources and all the money and all the focus and all the huge amount of attention being put on innovation these days. If we just go back to 3 of the examples on that board there, you may have seen one. This is a friend of mine called Eric Hirschman, who runs the iHub in Nairobi. He's spent most of his time in Africa. He's an African blogger into technology. Eric and his Kenyan friends were in 2008 just going about their daily business. It was the Kenyan elections at that time. And suddenly out of the blue during the 2008 Kenyan elections, this happened. It turned really nasty. It surprised everybody. Nobody really saw it coming. The Kenyan elections went bad. Started getting killed. There was violence, tribal violence, ethnic violence, political violence. And from the countries that they were in, Eric at the time was in Florida, many of his friends were in other countries around the world. They were watching the news coming back from Kenya about what was happening in the country. But the news was only coming from Nairobi, only coming from Mombasa, only coming from the main population centres, and that concerned them. They wanted to know what was going on everywhere, and they realised also that they had to capture everything that was going on everywhere if they were to try to make sense of what had happened, and then to help the country heal afterwards. So in 3 days, they built this map called Ushahidi. Ushahidi is witness in Swahili, and basically allows people to use web forms, text messages, tweets, and so on to post entries on a map saying what happened where they were. It allows you to visually and graphically map events on a map there. It was used during the Kenyan election crisis. Today it's now used in about 130, 140 countries. It formed the basis of the international community's response to the Haiti earthquake in 2010. And is now seen as one of the biggest crowdsourcing map systems out there. The really interesting thing was it came about by accident, really. It came about as a result of a crisis nobody saw coming. The Ushahidi team built it in 3 days. They had plan, no business model, no real idea what they were doing, and no money. Yet they built something which today in the development sector is one of the biggest tools, almost widely used tools today. If we look at an example, this is a friend of mine, Bridge Kathari. I met him at Stanford University a few years ago. Bridge was watching a film with some friends in a New York apartment. The film was Women on the Verge of a Nervous Breakdown. I don't know how many people in the room have seen that. I won't ask for a show of hands, but apparently it's quite an interesting film. It's a Spanish film, though, and the subtitles were in English. Now, Bridge and his friends were learning Spanish at the time, interestingly, and Bridge just casually mentioned, wouldn't it be great if the subtitles we were reading were also in Spanish, so we could hear the Spanish and read the Spanish, and that might help us learn Spanish? And what if Bollywood put all of the Bollywood movies and the Bollywood pop videos, all the words to the songs and the films on the screen in Hindi? Would young children read those words as they sung, as they listened, and would it actually help improve literacy skills in India? So Bridge came up with the concept of same language subtitling. This is an Indian film here with same language subtitling on the screen. Today, remarkably, about 300 million Indian school children are learning to read, getting very, very early taste of literacy skills through same language subtitling. That's 300 million. It's a pretty incredible number. When you think again about the roots of this innovation, pizza, film, New York apartment, friends, off-the-cuff comments on a Saturday night, and how it's turned into something so significant. Again, Bridge had no 5-year plan. He had no permission to do this. He had no money. He just came up with this idea randomly and he pursued it and has created something with significant change. Again, something that was not really expected to exist ended up existing. Last one, this is Laura Stachel, a friend of mine again. She's a maternal nurse in the US, runs her own practice. Most of the time, the birth process for her clients is wonderful, and the baby's born, everyone's healthy, everyone's doing great. She went to Nigeria to do a bit of research one month, and while she was there, she walked into a maternity ward in a Nigerian hospital, and this is what she walked into. This is the nurse's station in the middle of the ward. Around this desk are about 20 or 30 beds with women and their babies. Of course, you can't see them because there's a power. Now, power cuts are pretty inconvenient at the best of times, but if the surgeons are operating on a woman who's having severe complications of pregnancy, or somebody comes into the hospital after a long walk of maybe a day or two to get there with severe complications and there's no power, they can't operate. Laura saw women dying and their babies dying in front of her while she was there, and it deeply troubled, deeply shocked, deeply upset her. And she couldn't believe that in the 21st century, babies and mothers were dying because there was no light. It just seemed like an incredible thing that with all the clever technology that we had and all this big focus on innovation, something so simple hadn't been addressed. So she designed this thing called the solar suitcase. You put it outside in the daytime, it has batteries, it's got a solar panel, it charges up. You bring it into the hospital, and at night time, if suddenly the power goes during an operation, bam, you have light. Very, very simple, very, very appropriate technology. But it's saving countless women's and babies' lives in hundreds of countries now around the world. And again, thinking about the root of this innovation, Laura had no plan, again, no money, no business idea around how to make this work. She just found herself troubled by something which really deeply affected her, and she realized that if she hadn't done something about it, that probably nobody else would. And it became her life's mission. And she now runs We Care Solar out of the US, and it's one of my favorite projects because it is such a simple thing to fix, yet for whatever reason, nobody had previously chosen to fix it. These stories plus 7 more I featured in a book that I wrote about a year ago now called The Rise of the Reluctant Innovator. And it was just a way that projects were coming about were just really interesting me, that we were reading about the huge amounts of money going into innovation, all the planning and all of the user trials and the whole process of innovation. Yet the really interesting and exciting stuff that I was seeing in my work was coming about accidentally, it was coming about randomly. And I felt it was important that we should capture these stories. So if you're interested in those 3, and the stories are all written by the innovators themselves, I've just done the editing, then you're obviously welcome to go and check out the book. What we're going to do now is I think we're going to retire to some tables again just for a couple of minutes, just so you can talk to the people that you're with, just to maybe if you've had any ideas in the past that you wish you had acted on, any things that you had seen, any solutions to problems that you've come up with in the past but maybe haven't necessarily dealt with, or perhaps even have dealt with. Just think about what reluctance might mean in the context of your experience, and then we'll just get back together after that.
Thank you very much, Ken. So I'm bringing up some tables. Turn around, there'll be tables in front of us, behind us. We've got about 4 or 5 minutes. So click on the seat where your bottom goes and sit down, meet some new people and have a conversation. So you might need to walk a bit closer. To walk, you just use the arrow keys or the W or S or A or D keys and turn around. There are more tables behind us as well. So if you turn around, there'll be more behind you. Okay, so when you get close to the table, click on the seat where your bottom would go, or press the letter T. That will sort you out.
I agree.
Hello, Sharon.
I really love the idea.
Oh, hi Will, how are you?
You're not on the table
It's,
this time.
it's actually quite
I'm not on the table. How that happened?
So Eve, Carol, Tracy, grab a seat. Plenty of spaces behind you. So if you turn around, there's more tables behind you.
Individual creative places.
Press the letter T or just grab a seat. So you might want to go a bit closer, Carol.
Yeah, I'll just keep it as
Alice, walk a bit closer.
So what?
So to walk forward, use the WASD
in
keys
Durham, North Carolina. I think that you said
or the arrow keys to get a bit closer. And then sit down. Yeah, Alice. Right. Too close. Come now from there. A few more steps forward, Alice.
Sorry, I was on mute. I realized that. I said that.
And what is that? So that's my call.
How are you? I'm good. How are you?
Oh, fine, thank you. Which part of the world are you from?
Okay, Caroline. So what the seats behind you, Carol?
I think it's true though, because in that kind of
Eve,
environment, there's pressure you've got to filter.
Brilliant.
You have to make it.
From Manchester, UK. Yes, okay.
There's no script.
Eve, if you turn to your left, oh yeah, there's one in front of you as well. There you go.
Oh, Carl,
Grab
that's
that
right.
one.
Thank you. Same here.
Eve, if you want to grab this chair over here, directly ahead of us.
So, how did you find out?
I think something like comfort, like the energy of it.
Where
The energy.
a lot of it.
Okay.
So how would you answer the question?
Hi Jane, are you back? And your microphone is currently switched on.
Well, you've got it working. Yeah. That's great. Whereabouts in the world are you? I'm in Edinburgh. Excellent. Remind us.
I work now as a deputy. I work for 3 years.
NHS.
We started. I work with I joined QUBE just as curious as you are.
Josh, is he away or not able to sit down?
I mean, right. Here, I think it's a classic example of learning can be
Right. Well, that's very cool. As a person who suffered from that. That would be.
How about you?
You know, I think about, certainly work experience.
Would you like to join one of the tables?
Virtual. And I don't know if you're interested.
At your computer.
In a while. And some years ago, I was very involved in virtual, and even started a profit.
And I think the more fascinating is that, in fact, because there are certain
Sorry about that. I just hold everyone back. I did flash the lights to warn you.
I didn't even notice that.
I did, okay. So flashing lights look like this.
Okay.
You just like the power.
I love the power. Ken, we're not taking feedback straight away, are we? We're carrying on with your presentation, yes?
I think, well, we can get feedback if people want to give some feedback. If they'd like to, I'd love to hear some.
Maybe one wise comment.
At least one. Well, one would be good. Maybe two.
It works every time. Okay, Ken, do you want to roll off?
Coding of wise out of it.
We're all afraid, Ken. Maybe there's a message in it.
So around my table, hi, it's Nicholas here.
Hi, Nicholas.
Around the table I was at, there was a very interesting comment about innovation needing some caring. The more you care, somebody said, the more likely you're going to innovate. And I thought, so the next step is, how do you get more caring?
Yeah, actually, that's a very it comes out very strongly in the book. Actually, the reason these people did succeed and really stick with their innovations was simply because they got personally involved and it actually meant something to them. they'd seen the problem, they'd empathise with the people facing the problem, and that made a huge difference. And I think a lot of the innovation that we see, which is done at a great distance, somebody may be trying to fix a problem somewhere in Africa or Asia who's never been to those countries or never visited the communities with the problem, they're far more likely to drop the project that they're running the minute they get problems if they haven't got that empathy. So I think empathy is the word that we need to look at here. But it's a very, very good point.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Okay, Ken, do you want to roll on and tell us more?
I would love to roll on. Well, thanks everyone. I hope that was a useful little breakout for you all. So if we think about resources and we think about money and we think about everything that you expect to have when you innovate well, in the development sector, there's a couple of camps that we live in, and certainly the world that I live in. Some of you may know these two people. I guess we could always do a shout out, couldn't we, just to make it a bit more fun. Anyone know who the person on the left is with the beard? Great, you'll all learn something then.
Santa Claus.
Santa Claus, yes. It's okay. It's a guy called it's a guy called Bill Easterly, William Easterly. He wrote a very, very good book called The White Man's Burden about international development, about innovation problems. So Easterly argues that that aid is bad, huge amounts of money put in by Western development organizations to find solutions to the kinds of problems that Bridge, Eric and Laura fixed is bad, that actually we should encourage more grassroots innovation, we should encourage people to run and take ownership of their own problems. And it's an argument which is increasingly, I think, taking, getting some ground that has been over the last few years. The man on the right, who looks very different to the man on the left, anyone got any ideas who that is?
Yes, that's Jeffrey Sachs, economist, I think Harvard University.
You are quite right. Yeah, he's at the Earth Institute, Columbia, I think. But he may well be good. But he's certainly very clever, and he's got a suit on. And the thing that Jeffrey Sachs believes in, he runs a thing called Millennium Villages, and Jeffrey Sachs is part of the sort of more aid brigade, I suppose you could put it. So he argues for more money, more resources, more attention, that the problems of the world are only going to be solved if we spend a lot more money on trying to fix them. And again, it's a very potent view to Bill Easterly's, but also it almost lies in the face of the experience of the people in the rise of the reluctant innovator, who of course didn't have money, resources, and all the things that Jeffrey Sachs is saying that we need in order to innovate successfully and interestingly and well around these problems. So the reality on the ground is in the view of my experience and also many other people's, and certainly Bill Easterly's, is very different to that being called for by experts such as people like Jeffrey Sachs there. When we think about technology and innovation in particular, this is the mecca of innovation for most people. This is the hallowed turf of the Apple Store, where we sort of walk in and salivate and just get amazingly excited by technologies and products that we really had no idea that we needed. But when we leave, we feel we do need them. Steve Jobs has always maintained when he was alive that he knew what people wanted before they did. And it's certainly hard not to get mesmerized and dazzled by iPhones and iPads and all the latest kind of technology solutions that are out there. Problem we have with this, though, and when we think about this in terms of innovation in developing countries and social innovation, is that people start to try to come up with really, really clever, amazing uses for this technology, totally out of context. So, for example, this is a tweet I grabbed a couple of years ago from somebody who's tweeted about a person who shall remain nameless. I've blanked their name out to avoid any public humiliation. But they're tweeting about how African farmers could use iPads to get agricultural information. The problem with this is, although it sounds absolutely wonderful, is that there are probably hardly any, if any, African farmers with iPads. It would probably take them 3 or 4 years of their entire annual salaries to afford one, if they could even get one, and then they wouldn't be able to charge it or connect it to the internet anyway. It's just a crazy, crazy idea which sounds exciting, it sounds innovative, it sounds brilliant, and likely will be funded, yet will not work. And this is a big problem that we have when we have people who are trying to fix problems at a distance. They see innovation, they see technology, they see solutions through the lens of their own particular circumstance, their own lives, their own surroundings, and don't know what the reality is for the people that they're trying to help, however well intentioned that may be. This is my favorite example of innovation for innovation's sake. This is actually this is an iPad-powered coffee machine, which I found in an office I went to for a meeting recently. I don't really know why the world's a better place because this exists. I don't know what's wrong with the old-style coffee machines where you press buttons, or heaven forbid, coffee machines where you boil a kettle. So, you know, somebody somewhere has just decided that they're going to attach an iPad to a coffee machine because they can. It's as simple as that. It doesn't advance anything. And the coffees don't look anything like the coffees on those pictures either. So it's just funny that this is the kind of innovation that we see in the West largely, where it's not really problem driven. It's driven by a desire to look smart and to build clever looking things that people rarely actually need. The third sort of way, when we think about innovation and we think about Jeffrey Sachs and we think about Bill Easterly, we think about the resources and the money and the international aid and the charity way of doing things. No, the coffee didn't taste better. It was free, but it tasted worse. And the iPad kept breaking. And I'm sure actually the iPad was bolted down. So I think they probably had several iPads stolen in the process of using that machine. So it wasn't a huge success, I wouldn't say. The interesting third way when we think about innovation is that actually, according to people like Paul Polak, who wrote this book last year, The Business Solution to Poverty, there's again a growing belief that some of the biggest problems on the planet will be solved by business. There has to be a sustainable financial or business model around all the products that we build to solve these problems. We have to build things that people will want to use. The problem with a lot of charity and free products that a lot of social ventures build and then go hand out to people, bed nets, water containers, any other kind of innovation, lighting devices, is that because they're being given for free, nobody really has to bother to find out whether these are things people actually want. They just give them out for free, and their success is measured by how many they're given out, not really by whether people wanted them or not. Of course, if you're selling the product, if you sell that light or sell that bed net or sell that water container for 50 cents, 20 cents, make it very, very affordable. But if you sell it and they buy it, you know you're building something that they want because they're willing to pay for it. And it's an interesting example, and I think an interesting way of thinking about this. And probably 10 years ago, if you'd asked me if I thought that business was potentially the way forward for many of the problems in the developing world, I would probably disagree with you. But now I'm coming increasingly around to the idea that because charitable work is unsustainable, giving stuff for free is unsustainable, begging for money every year on a fundraising drive is largely unsustainable, that maybe for the best long-term solutions, we will need business to do that. Again, when we think about building these solutions and we think about the kinds of stuff that we're using in this country, I have my iPhone here and I have a wonderful suite of apps for it, and I can do almost anything I possible to do on it, like phones or Windows phones and so on. You know, we are obsessed by the Apple Store approach to technology. We're obsessed by smartphones and obsessed by the latest stuff, which again doesn't really have any relevance to the world for many people who have the biggest problems. And what it leads to is developers building apps for data collection in developing countries, education apps for young African school children or Indian school children, and they're building them on smartphones. They're building them on the higher end devices. And the real problem is, of course, without that empathy, without that understanding of what life is like and what the conditions are like on the ground, they don't realize that, in fact, these are the kind of phones which are still in the hands of people in rural areas, particularly in developing countries, in huge numbers. Not necessarily this model of phone, but the old style phones that we had years ago. Probably a bunch of us have got these phones in our sock drawers at home, sort of dying a slow death at the back. But they're still very, very useful for people who are low on income, need a phone which has a long battery life. I don't know about you, but I could kill the battery on my early Nokia phone. When I had a phone like this, the battery lasts about 2 weeks, which is great if you can't charge your phone at home because you haven't got power. The screen can be read in bright daylight because it's not the kind of screen that has all the colors and fancy stuff by it. As someone's just put there, lots of telephone banking now, M-Pesa in Kenya, that was signed. You know, people using them for mobile banking very effectively. Nearly 40 or 50% of Kenya's GDP now goes through mobile banking apps. They're actually streets ahead of anybody else around the world. But the reality is these are the phones that people largely have. my experience of these sort of technologies and technology solutions goes back to this product called Frontline SMS that I developed in 2005, which when we think about a technology solution needing to be appropriate, needing to work for people who you intend to use it. Obviously, I'm going to trump this as a very good example because it's something that I came up with. But it took me 12 years of living and working across the developing world before I came up with this solution. And I think the empathy and the understanding of life on the ground made this solution work for its users. It's basically it's an SMS system that allows you to, in a similar way that Outlook does for emails, allows you to create groups of people by geography. It could be by village, it could be by project type, it could be by age, it could be by gender, it could be by any category that you like. You create groups, you add their mobile phone numbers into that group. You can then type a message and hit go, and the message will be sent out through that cheap little phone attached to that laptop with a cable. What it allows you to do is it allows you to run text messaging campaigns with farmers, healthcare workers, human rights activists, anybody that you're working with in rural areas with just 1 bar of mobile phone signal. And of course, SMS works on every phone, particularly those old cheap ones that people have in their hands. So SMS is still the most effective way to reach the most number of people anywhere in the world today. It remains so. And this system allowed you to message those people and get replies and manage the whole thing from a cheap, low-cost laptop. It suddenly opened up the opportunity that mobile phone was bringing to non-profits in developing countries who were starting to see phones appear around them, and allowed them to do mass messaging and get mass replies. It's been used to run agricultural networks in Aceh, giving coffee prices to farmers. It's allowing rural healthcare workers to get test results via SMS, to ask advice on drugs. It's allowing people to send in reports when they are seeing misgoings on during elections, or when their houses have been flattened by the government, or they've got an incident of corruption to report. It's being used to blast emergency warnings out to people in Afghanistan. Today, Frontline SMS is in use in about 170 countries around the world, which is almost all of them. And the total number of people benefiting from projects that are running the software is between 20 and 30 million people. So for me, I'm proud of the achievements of the users of the software. And again, the point for me is that I've not done any of the work. I've simply built a tool which has enabled the people doing the work to use mobile phones more effectively where they are. And it's also fixing problems that I would never, ever possibly have the hope of understanding. So I think empowering end users, giving people who are living daily with the problems, who are already trying to fix them, the tools to do those jobs better, is the best way forward. And I think if we look at Bridge, and we look at Laura maybe in particular and the work they've done, this is exactly what seems to work. The connection with this and reluctant innovation for me, again, I had no money, I had no 5-year plan, I had no real idea that this was really going to be that useful. In some context that I'd seen, but for me it was something I built because I believed very strongly, having worked across Africa, lived in Nigeria for a year, did so many things like that. I really believed that this was something that grassroots activists, non-profit, social actors were really crying out for. They didn't want people like me flying in and trying to solve their problems for them. They simply wanted the spade, they wanted the pitchfork, they wanted the pen, they wanted the ruler, they wanted the things that they needed, and they were more than capable to go off and fix it themselves. So you can find more on Frontline SMS on the Frontline SMS website. And for me, I think I'm incredibly proud of the users around the world that have made use and continue to make use of that software. So I think we're going to go back to the whiteboards. Eddie will guide us there in a minute. Really just wondering now that you've seen a few more examples of appropriate technologies, solutions that work for the users, solutions based in reality, whether what you might think you might need as a reluctant innovator, or what tools you feel you might have, or even what ideas you have around reluctant innovation, whether you've seen the good examples that you can share with the people at the table of really basic, simple, appropriate tools that have worked, or maybe the opposite, really high-tech iPad-powered coffee machines for African farmers, or whatever it might be. Just be interested for you to go and have that chat, and I think Eddie will lead you off for a couple of minutes, and then we'll come back together.
Great. Thank you very much, Ken. Thanks. Great.
Thank you.
So a chance for us to swap ideas and talk about what we need to do ourselves to become reluctant innovators. We're going to the large workshop whiteboard. And you'll find that when you arrive here, and if you can't find your own way here, I'm going to bring you here. Sorry about that. Okay. You'll see that in a second, these green carpets in front of us are going to turn red. And the reason they're turning red is because now these fire so we start putting panels. So I'm going to propose that if your name starts with A to D, you go to the first panel over there. Simply click on the sticky which says community up here, and you'll go there. I'm going to suggest from to about E goes to that one, and everybody from etc. Okay? So we have a few minutes to have a discussion. There's a whiteboard there as well. If some of the Pentacle students can jump, plenty of space for you guys to work or scribble or whatever you want to do. So if you click on the actual where it says expected,
Hey Nat, how's it going?
it'll just drag you to the right place.
Yeah, good, thank you, very good.
Oh, I got very quiet.
If you're not sure, just go anywhere.
Yeah.
Hey guys. Hello. Hey, hi Armin, good to see you again. Hi there, you happy now? Yes. Hey.
Eric, are you okay?
Hey.
Yeah.
Behind me.
Eric, but Nicholas, if you click on where it says innovation acceleration. Sharon, if you could take 3 or 4 steps forward, you'll join them.
Yes, I'm here with us.
Ken, do you want to grab a seat somewhere just while we're pushing, or should we just go to the slideshow and make sure they're ready for the
Yeah, I could just do that. I'll be interested. We could just ask people how they've what they've discussed briefly, but I can hang around the slideshow. It might be easier.
Okay. The things we've run out on time, run over on time. So, I'm trying to.
I think 1 or 2 people.
Okay, well we can make this quick. And then the last set of slides,
Okay.
like 2 minutes.
So we'll let them come back here. Give them enough time to talk, and then that's useful.
I heard that celery is the only food that actually has a negative calorie weight. It actually takes
Who's talking about celery?
This is the next slide. We're in the right place.
Yep, in the right place. Yeah.
Yeah, on the whiteboard.
Yep, we've got Will. Here's a trick for you, Sharon. If you
the idea that some kind of necessity of another invention.
Okay. You okay, Ken?
Yep, I'm all good.
Did you enjoy it so far?
Yeah, it's been fun. How about you?
Yeah, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I loved it. I loved the story. I loved
Good,
it.
I'm pleased. If you're happy, I'm happy.
Yeah, and you were reading the text chat and all the comments.
I've been trying to just dip to.
Which is very
Oh, I can multitask. Whatever you say, I can do it.
You're one of the new men we read about.
I'm a 21st century man, Eddie.
Brilliant. I'm going to give them about another minute and then drag them back.
Okay.
And then what I'll do is I'll drag them to a circle and just get 1 or 2 comments. Because if you get comments from everyone...
Oh, that's fine, yeah. Yeah, agreed.
I'll tell them 30 seconds.
Okay.
So our title of our area is...
I was quite amused by the lady who said I didn't see the lights flash before.
Oh.
It's quite hard.
Maybe it's the same one talking about salary.
Alice, what we're doing is, yeah, Alice, just drop What we are doing is we are picking up post-its and dragging on the page. So please make up your post-its.
Okay.
And if you think post-its are moving, that's because I'm resizing them. And
Yeah. So you're ready to rock and roll. I'm going to drag them back.
Yep. I'm all.
Okay, so I know the time is short, but what can we do? So I was going to suggest that we take one wise comment from someone of ideas they've had or something which surprised them. Last time round, we heard about caring and empathy. Maybe a different angle on actually creating these ideas.
Feel free to shout anything out.
I think overcoming, overcoming, a fear of failure.
Okay. There's a really good TED talk on that.
Yeah. See, Eddie, do I get a chocolate on Cube?
Yeah, I think fear of failures. I think it's a great question. I won't obviously won't go into it too much now because we're running out of time. But I think again, if you look at the sort of reluctant innovator way approach of solving problems, that actually there's probably more fear in not doing anything because people are dying or suffering if you do nothing.
Yeah.
And at least by trying, you are morally doing the right thing. And for me, I think that overcomes any fear in the more traditional sense.
Brilliant, thank you.
I really like the examples of where there's a lack of sophistication, because I think we get seduced into the idea that innovation must be very savvy, must be technologically very advanced, etc. So I'm really interested in this idea that unsophisticated solutions can be extremely effective.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's a good point too. Yeah, and it's one that comes out very strongly in the book and hopefully in the talk as well tonight.
Great, thanks. Okay, so let's listen to the last bit of Ken thing, and then we'll have a chance to just talk more generally. So I'm going to suggest you go back to main screen from the green carpet. And if you're really slow, guess what will happen to you? There you go. Okay, Ken, can you close for us?
I will indeed. Okay, well, I hope the little breakout session, you had a couple of interesting conversations there, and it was helped sort of form your knowledge a little bit. I'm just going to go back to my screen because Eddie has dragged me back to the wrong place. Here we go. So, again, I think one of the themes really, again, thinking about the and many of the people out there who are just out there fixing stuff, the real lesson from all of this, and actually it came out in the fear question, interestingly, too, is that if there is something out there calling you, if you do see something on television, you read something and it deeply troubles and disturbs you, and you really feel that you should be contributing to finding a right to that wrong, or fixing something which is imbalanced or just doesn't feel right to you, then really there's nothing stopping you just going out there and doing it. And it's the message that I get from almost every innovator I meet in developing countries, people who are living with these problems every day. They don't really overthink, over-strategize, do a 5-year plan, do all the other things. They just basically get backwards. And they do it. And when we think about the thing that Eric's done with Ushahidi and the mapping in Kenya, when we think about what Bridge did with his same language subtitling in India, when we think about what Laura has done with her WeCare solar suitcases in Nigeria, and of course now all around the world. And then when we also think about people like this Ugandan who wanted to build himself a helicopter, he didn't sit around listening to people telling him he couldn't build one. He just started to build one. If we think about these Nigerian schoolgirls who, due to lack of lighting and power in their school, built a urine-powered generator for the school. Again, probably plenty of people told them they couldn't do it and they shouldn't do it, but they knew it was a need, they wanted to do it, and they just did it. A bit like this guy who has a mobile phone that he can't charge it at home, who built a bicycle-based mobile phone charger so he could keep his phone charged. Again, plenty of reasons why he shouldn't have done it, but he just got off his backside and did it. And this Kenyan cattle herder whose cattle were being hassled by lions, and he built a auto detection system around the fencing around the cattle which alerted him when lions got near. Again, it seems like an impossible dream to build something like that. This kid's about 10 or 11. But he was driven, he was motivated to fix the problem because it meant something to him to fix it. People probably told him he couldn't do that either. But again, he just went out and did it. And I think the same applies to everybody everywhere, that if there's something out there calling you and you feel there's something you should be doing, then just do it. I'll leave it there. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Hey.
Thank you. That was good.
Thank you.
Things I suggest to note, which are Ken's Twitter handle, which is at Kiwanja. His website is kiwanja.net. But most importantly, if you're going to be involved in development, he has a website based on the donors charter, and it's really worth reading that. We'll send it to you in the follow-up email, so you've got a link to that, because he highlights how to do what you were saying, Asher, which is using what's there to drive innovation. So that's really brilliant. So if everyone would be happy to give Ken a second round of applause, that would be brilliant.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And if you really liked him, you can jump. Just press the space bar and you'll jump. And if you end up on the roof, it's not mine. You can't come back down.
Wow, look at all those people jumping. I'm getting dizzy. You can stop now.
I'm going to put us again in a circle. So
I don't even know how to jump.
Space bar. Press the space bar.
Space bar, all right. Here we go.
Yes!
Thank you.
The mouse forward and backwards, your head, or you press Y,
I know.
yes, and then
Yes.
and jump with the space bar. Great. So what we want to do is we want to learn a little bit more about QUBE, but also I want to try and help build what we do with some of the learning on QUBE. I'm going to try to explain a couple of things really quite quickly. The easiest way is if I drag you. If you don't mind, I'll drag you around the cubicle, and then we'll take some questions, then we'll do an overall review and give people time to network. So if you don't mind being dragged, please say so now, because I'm about to drag you. Okay, great. Too bad you didn't say no. So, just to try and build some context, how did we get here? Some of these slides which are taking over, executive education is ripe for disruption, etc. These are things which have been written about for ages in terms of trying to make people learn in a different way. And what we then did at Pentacle was we said, okay, if that's true, and we started about 8 years ago, how on earth would you change the way the world works? And if you know of old and new world, you'll realize that for us, we knew that people had to learn. The traditional way of learning, this is a typical business school, meant people sitting in classrooms, going to events, writing articles, and so on and so forth, alumni and so on. So we thought, how do we make sure that you could do all the learning which you would do traditionally, but without having to have the traditional structures? And so QUBE does all of those things at the same time. In addition, this here is quite important. Ask us about functionality, and if you recognize the things on the left, does anyone recognize some of the things on the left?
Yes.
Okay, well, you can do all of that on QUBE and a little bit more. So if you are currently trying to run your international team on WebEx or using Google Hangouts and so on, you can do all of that at the same time. So that really is the starting point for QUBE. You've now been through the process. I'll take you through the process. Hopefully you got some interaction rather than just being presented to. Hopefully you realize that you could talk to each other and you were quite autonomous unless Eddie came along and messed you around. Okay? And within this cubicle we have here, I'll just show you some stuff we've done. Over to the left, these are the ideas which you captured. You can see all these ideas just from that very short 5-minute session. Often if you're in a real environment, people are so busy taking political positions and being powerful that they don't bother to actually work on things. And in 5 minutes, look what you've generated. Complete strangers. You've learned about pets and tools over here. So we have lots and lots of these pets. And I'm going to share with you one of the ones we use when we're trying to deal with a problem which Ken was describing. So when we're at Pentacle, we often will talk about sparks of innovation. That's how we describe the ideas. And we talk about sparks coming in different flavors. Some of them come from people's great ideas. This world is where the iPad coffee machine comes from. Somebody had an idea and they tried to make it happen. On the left are things where you're tired on the plane, so they then figure out how to support you. So these are what we call pull innovations. These come from insights and so on. The thing is, if you dream stuff up, as you heard from Ken, it doesn't mean that anybody wants it. But if you have a real need, remember his stories about the different people, the guy who was watching the film and thought about the language stuff. If you have a real need, we know people will need it, but you may not have the organization to support it. So what we tend to work with when we're working with clients is we talk about a spark map. We get them to put the current ideas they have all in one place. And then we say, well, if it's in a push one, let's check and make sure the customers actually want it. Because you've invented a new way, but do we know if anyone needs it? If it's a technology, actually, is this useful to them? And then if they go out and find something, we say to them, can you check and really make sure that you can get the support? So in the same way Ken let his idea free so people could build on it, the risk on this side comes from people having the organization to deliver it. The risk on the left-hand side comes from nobody actually wanting it. And I've got a couple of tools here. They're called pets. If you want to stay around later and talk to some of the Pentacle people, they'll explain them. The one to the left, which I'm going to take you to, is called Slice, and it's a really simple tool which basically allows you to take a pretty rubbish idea like this one of a bicycle which is being ridden sideways and turn it into something which people might be interested in. And this one over here on the right is another one of our pets, and this is how you find insights. So if you want to stay around afterwards, some of the computers will give you an idea. There was a lady from Mondelez here who left, unfortunately, and I'd been hoping she was here because these are Mondelez projects, and this goes back to a project I did with them on innovation, where I got the senior executive to sit and watch people interacting with their products at the checkouts. If you've ever walked past a checkout with children, you'll know they always say, me want one. You say, no. They say, me want one. You say, okay, hurry. Then they can't decide because there's just so much choice. And that little insight led to the delivery of a product called Heroes, where they took all the individual products and put them in a single box. And it's a shame she wasn't here because I would have asked her how much money that simple insight gave them because it was tons of money. So that gives you a sense of QUBE. I'm going to put us back in a circle just to start to make sure that everyone has all they need. If you want to stay and find out more about the technology on QUBE, we're happy to tell you. But really, the thing to work out now is next steps, what you want to do next. And for that, I'm going to propose that you spend a little bit of time just closing out of what we want to do next, and then we'll do a quick review. I'll stop and breathe for a second. I'm going to flip us round to look at the whiteboard, and I'm going to ask my colleagues to join us. So to join me. So everyone here, what we've done is we've set out 5 areas for discussion. So this is if you are involved in things like digital transformation or you're building a community, a little bit like how we run Inspiration Monthlies every month. If you're involved in executive education, then come to this one which says executive education and talk to other people about executive education. If you're interested in leadership and strategy, you're senior person, CEO, etc., come to this one and talk about how you make that work. Innovation people come here, and people interested in project delivery. I'm going to bring up some boundaries, and then I'm going to let you loose. And that gives us about 5 minutes for conversation, and then we'll close. So if you go there, I'll just try and get one Pentacle tutor to each slot, and they can tell you stories and so on. Now free to move. Okay, so when you find somewhere, if the Pentacle tutors are here, please join, and let's have a conversation.
How are you doing?
Ah, that's me. Yeah.
Well, this short bit here is about some clients that come to
Talking
us
to yourself again.
and they say, well, we have an idea.
Eric needs to continue, has he?
It's really
Okay,
Hi, Fiona.
Alice, I see you're still there. I think you might be interested in executive
this bit
education.
here is about those clients that come to us and ask for help to deliver their projects. Like we have an example from
How are you, Leonard? Are you well?
Hi, Matt. Hey, how are you doing? Haven't seen you for a while. Hey Jason, you're back.
Doing well.
Did you...
All right.
Yeah, well, this bit here is about those clients that come to us with for our project or our problem, and they ask us for support. So one example is Walter Schooner. Are you familiar with Walter Schooner? They're a very large organization, you know, £1 billion, well, a few billion euros a year, and well, their HR came to us, and they you know, they have a lot of collaborators spread all over the world, and they wanted to integrate those people, but that would cost them too much money to bring them all to the same place, and it wouldn't be as productive.
Yeah, of course.
Because, you know, how long would they spend together? And so we had a supporter who was a sponsor, who was their VP, you know, the HR VP, and she, well, she called all the leaders that she has in her organization, and you know, there were about, I think, 30 senior executives from spread all over the world. And what we did is we had a common goal, and we had to work in different groups because, you know, they were in different time zones, and you know, they didn't know each other. And in about 6 weeks, maybe 7 weeks, we helped them with their tools. I mean, we just included some of our pets, some of our tools, because they knew what we wanted. We just helped them on the how to deliver it. And that's one way to do it. We make sure that we can, you know, first we work on what we call disconfirmation. And that's about people realizing that they have to work differently. You know, if they insist on doing things the same way they've always done, they probably won't succeed because things are changing too rapidly. And it was actually pretty good. We even ran for some contests about, you know, innovation prizes, and that was pretty good. So it was very exciting to see all those people who worked for the same organization, and some of them have been working there for over 10 years, and they didn't know each other. Because, you know, it's a huge organization. So that's this bit here. That's about the old project and the change management. I think I remember you from, maybe it was over a year ago, wasn't it, Jason, that you came back? It was either February last year or end of 2013. Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. There's nobody for digital transformation and community.
Well, yeah, well, what we try to avoid doing here on QUBE is we try to avoid doing what we're doing right now. I mean, that's 1 minute. I'm just talking to you as if we were on Skype. You know, I can see your photo or your video. I mean, so we're not really interacting. What we try to do is we always try to make sure that we use specs like hosted fears, you know, Caply, and you know, sticky steps. So we can collaborate, we can together come up with something and lead the meeting.
Oh, Nicholas, I think you've left the sound zone, so you might need to just take a couple of steps forward if you want to hear your data.
So, yes, we could, the thing about having, you know, a cubicle or a place for you to do those meetings, that's quite easy. But I think it's more about how can we work more effectively, you know, instead of just chatting, you know, doing video conference. That's something easy to do, Jason. It's something we're doing with some, for instance, with NHS. NHS, you've seen some people from NHS here today. They're all from, well, you know, National Health Service. They're from Scotland. So they're all in the same country, but some people in rural areas, some people in, you know, different cities. But we've done something with Visino. There was also someone from Visino today. And they had people from, you know, New Zealand to Vancouver, Canada. So they had split them into 3 different parts of the world in order to make sure that they use the same language, they use the same methodology and paths, so they would actually feel comfortable working with their colleagues who are actually based somewhere in the world. And I'm talking about people who make, I don't know, 100K a year, euros or pounds, so senior managers. So definitely, I mean, a meeting space with something else, it's really like a meeting space, like when you go to a meeting. We try to make it as effective as possible, and people can come back later and see what actually happened in case they missed the meeting. With the benefits that sometimes people who are actually sick, they can turn out for the session. Like we were delivering a session in August and September, and it happened that I broke my leg. I went to play rugby with the alumni. I hadn't seen that for, I don't know, ages and ages. And it happened that it's not really didn't really break, but I couldn't walk for 5 weeks. But I was here, and also with BBC, we had we were coaching them, and those people, we had like 5 people in a group. 2 of them didn't turn up for work, but they joined our session at, I don't know, 4 p.m. their time, because from their places they could do it. They just were not comfortable, turning up for work because they could. Yeah, I'm writing down your name here, Jason, so we'll get back to you, make sure we can, discuss it more properly, make sure that, we can, identify what exactly we're looking for, to see how can we help, several ways to do it. Yeah, exactly. How many people are you talking about? How many people do you need to meet regularly?
I've been here a lot because I developed the innovation processes for Unilever years ago. So
yeah,
I know how you can use a tool to facilitate this, and sort of really impressed by this.
Coders.
You very clearly said it.
Oh, I'm an evil person. Ken had to go. So
I'm still here, actually.
Oh, you're still here?
I'm still hanging on. Well, I saw 30-second warning. I thought I'd stay.
Brilliant. So everybody, if you could just say thank you to Ken.
Thanks, Ken.
Yeah, thank you, Ken.
Thank you, Ken.
Thanks, Ken.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, I suspect people have to go, but if we've got a couple more minutes, I'm going to propose 2 things. One, it would be nice to have a review. And the second is, we have a couple of short client case stories. Maybe we could show you one which lasts a couple of minutes, if you were interested. And that might make the experience not just a personal experience, but also understanding how that fits into a business. So if you've got a couple of seconds, I'd just like to run this one past you. And see whether you
Voices
have
Uber hypothesis spread widely across the world. Getting people together to collaborate and work efficiently across boundaries sometimes can be a challenge, as it's time-consuming and expensive. Within HR, we wanted to develop a more innovative and flexible approach across the whole L&R division, making country differences an advantage and taking the most out of the time all the HR team could spend together. We knew that we needed to find a technological solution for this that could meet our needs. Telephone was far too limited, and a collaborative software may simply be too dull. We needed a solution that not only could create a platform for developing in a way. With Penco, the virtual big school initiated the journey and imported projects into a three-dimensional working environment where we could collaborate, plan and develop solutions, having all the HR LRM team together. We quickly adapted to the software and even began to forget that we were working in different locations. A project that would normally take months was finished within a matter of weeks. At the same time, we were able to build stronger relationships across the HR L&R team, generate a better business solutions through collaboration, and develop a new way of working as a team.
Yep. So I found that it's so much easier that the environment that has been set up for us to feel, literally like hear and feel your colleagues in a it's for me because of for me.
It was really the missing piece, meaning that when you collaborate using a video device or a conference call over a phone, then you struggle to keep everyone involved. And here, you have no other choice. You are either involved or you are not participating.
But as time goes by, I think it will be, we will be using it more, have these kind of virtual meetings, even though if it's only with one or two colleagues. But if we need to share a presentation or something like that, it's more immediate using QUBE than going via email and sending the presentation.
So we have saved, just for this meeting, 20,461 miles. That's brilliant.
Brilliant. And there's a question which says, how much did we save today in terms of distance? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be naughty again and just pull everyone around because we've now worked it out. Just for this evening, we have saved 20,588 miles. And if we were to convert that into... Oh, it gets better than that. If we were to convert it into other things, let me see what we've
Yep,
got.
well, I've got the statistics here ready. Would you like me to share those? So we would have had to each have driven for 21 hours to get to our meeting place, or we would have had to fly for 6 hours each to get there. And by meeting on QUBE, we have saved 10 tons of carbon, and to offset that, we would have had to plant 50 trees.
Cool.
Bravo. Let's plant the trees anyway.
Question people often ask is this QUBE? And the answer is no, there are other cubicles and just some pictures of them, from really big open spaces down to ones for one or two people. So just so you understand that we're only in one for the Inspiration Monthlies. And then the last thing I'm going to ask is if you could give us some review comments. What was most useful, or what was least useful, how the experience was, and I've got a couple of polls as well I'm going to call for votes for. So that would really be very, very helpful for us. So please, if you could answer those, that would be superb. So maybe a post-it here for what was most useful to you, another post-it for what was least useful to you. I'm not holding you, by the way. You're all free. Okay, I know people have to go, so I'm going to put us in a circle, just say goodbye. And if you want to add the most useful and least useful comments later, that would be great as well. So I'm just going to put us in a circle so we can all say goodbye. So any comments later would be great. Sorry about that. That's it, guys. Sorry, we've overrun by about 10 minutes. But let's just rotate and just say goodbye to everyone. You can stay. The cubicle's here. It's open 24 hours a day. It doesn't close. You can bring your colleagues back to come and have a look at it. If you want to invite somebody to come have a look at what we did and talk them through it, halfway down the menus on the right, there's an envelope icon. And if you click on that, it will allow you to invite somebody to come and join us. So, starting from the top, Annie, just saying goodbye. Any thoughts or comments or some final words? It's high speed.
Brilliant. Thank you. Enjoyed it.
Thank you. Keep going, Asher. You're on push to
it's
talk.
mind-blowing, Eddie. Fantastic.
Brilliant. Superb. Let's just keep going, Charlie, and then everyone knows who's next.
Fantastic, loved it. Got empathy in my head now.
Jam-packed with ideas.
Brilliant. Keep going. We've got Debbie's
Eddie.
disappeared, so Eric, it's you.
Hi there. Yeah, it was really good. I like the idea of get up and going.
Brilliant. Keep going. Fiona? We lost Fiona. Jake.
Yeah.
Ed and team, it's very eye-opening. Highlight of my week. I'm wondering whether my clients would invest the time to get up to speed, so I want to talk to you all more, but a big smile on my face. Thanks.
Super. Thank you. Jason.
Still loving it. Still working on it with my organization, as you know.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got these QUBE labs, by the way, which we organize, but I know you're on the other side of the world. So that would be useful. Okay.
Okay, it's been fantastic to see so many people here, old faces and new faces as well, even if it is the same face. So I hope that this is what 2015 is going to be like.
Yes, I totally agree with Josh, and we're always here. If you want to get to know a little more about QUBE, there's lots that can be done here. So thank you very much all for turning up.
Nicholas, your mic's off.
Yeah, you keep turning it off apparently.
Because
so
we get background noise through you.
Yeah, I keep turning it off myself too. So thank you very much. I've enjoyed that a lot, and I'm just intrigued into wondering how to search places and people to activate more empathy, or using the empathy I have to try and do something with it.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Nicholas. Simon?
Yeah.
Missing Simon, Tam?
That's been great. Really good session. I've really enjoyed the presentation and meeting lots of new people. Hope to see you all, some of you soon.
Thanks, Toby. Toby's on push to talk. Tracy.
It's Simon here, actually. I spoke with him, realised I was off. Yeah, I just thought the format's excellent and nothing like showing by doing.
Brilliant. Thank you. Thanks, Tracy.
Really good to see you all here. Really great session. Just to let you know that the next Inspiration Monthly is on February the 19th at a different time of 12:30. So I hope to see you all there again.
Thank you very much, Tracy. And the last one is from me. And I'm just going to say, don't forget to tweet about it. You know what the hashtag is. It's all over the walls. It's hashtag QUBEIM15. And you've also got Ken Banks' hashtag everywhere. So thanks for coming. Really appreciate it. Hope you enjoy it. Stay. You don't have to log out immediately. I'm going to hang around a bit. We can chat. I'm actually in the process of getting rid of the barriers. I'm bringing up some tables. So there's some tables to sit and chat at. So don't feel shy. Send somebody private. Sit with me and let's chat. And let's spend some time just networking. Thank you very much, everyone. Thanks. That was great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.